Hello beautiful people and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a what's for dinner video. I know, this video is long overdue, so I hope you enjoy. So the first recipe I'm going to be making is shepherd's pie. This is going to be a little twist on shepherd's pie and you'll see later why. But I am browning my meat and I pre-cut some potatoes and I'm going to go ahead and boil those. Next I'm going to add in a tablespoon of garlic powder to my cooked meat and a tablespoon of onion powder. Now for the different part. So I am going to be adding in some barbecue sauce to this shepherd's pie recipe. You're going to need about a tablespoon of your choice of barbecue sauce. And then I'm also going to be adding in a splash of soy sauce as well. So you're going to want to combine that mixture and add it to your baking dish. Next, you're going to just prepare your mashed potatoes as you would normally prepare mashed potatoes. I'm going to be adding a tablespoon and a half of butter and some salt and pepper. I am going to be mashing the potatoes, and once they are mashed, I'm going to go ahead and add in a splash of milk. I usually just eyeball this. Next, I'm going to add in some frozen peas. I'm going to add the potato mixture on top. And once all that is added, I'm going to top everything with some cheese. You're going to want to bake that on 425 for about 20 minutes. That time will vary depending on your oven. And this is the finished product. I actually really enjoyed it with the barbecue sauce. My husband, however, was not a fan. So on this night, I did decide to make some breakfast casserole. So you're just going to want to grease up your baking dish. And then I'm using the potatoes O'Brien for this specific recipe. So you're just going to want to add your potatoes. Next, you're going to want to top those potatoes with some cheese. You can use whatever cheese that you desire. I'm just using the mixture of Colby Jack and cheddar. Now I'm going to be topping this with some onion salt. You can use onion powder and regular salt if you don't have the Trader Joe's onion salt. I just really love the flavor of this with eggs, so that is why I decided to use that. I'm also going to be topping this with some black pepper. Next, you are going to want to add in your eggs. So I am starting out with 5 eggs that I'm going to scramble up. And you will see later on in this recipe that I did decide that I needed more. So I think I ended up using 7 eggs total. You can definitely double this recipe or cut it in half depending on the size of your family. I am going to be adding a splash of milk just because I like the consistency of the scrambled eggs with the whole milk added. And then I'm going to also be adding some more cheese, and then I'm going to add some pepper and some garlic salt. And I'm really bad about measurements. I usually just eyeball stuff. I know how much seasoning we like in our food, so you can add more or less depending on your family's preference. So next you're going to add your egg mixture on top of the potato mixture. This is the point where I said, I think we need a couple more eggs. So I went ahead and scrambled up some more eggs and added the salt, the garlic salt, and the pepper to that as well. So next what you're going to want to do, and this step is optional, but I just love the taste of tomatoes with the eggs. So I went ahead and chopped up some cherry tomatoes, and I'm going to be adding that directly to the top of the casserole. And once you have added all the tomatoes, you are going to want to set your oven to 350, preferably preheat it if you can. And then you're going to cook this casserole anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. Again, depending on your oven. My oven's a little crazy, so I have to kind of keep an eye on it. But cooking times will vary. And this is the casserole right out of the oven. And this is what it looks like all plated up. I did decide to go ahead and pair this with a bagel and some cream cheese, just to add a little bit of something extra for dinner. And this casserole was delicious. I highly, 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 highly recommend it. So on this night, I am doing sheet pan kebabs. So basically, it's just like a regular kebab. Instead of putting it on a stick, I'm putting it on a baking pan. So you're going to want to chop up and dice up your zucchini. You can also use squash. You can add onion, whatever your little heart desires. I'm just using zucchini tonight because that's what I had on hand. And once you diced up all your zucchini, you are going to want to take some cherry tomatoes and cut those in half as well. Again, you can use whatever vegetables that your family likes. We just prefer zucchini, squash, onion, tomatoes, things like that. Those are all good options for sheet pan kebabs. So now that you have all your veggies cut up and diced up, you're going to want to get a baking sheet, and I am going to be using aluminum foil for this, and you're going to want to grease up the aluminum foil so your vegetables or your chicken do not stick to the pan. And then you're just going to lay out everything. You don't really have to lay it out all organized like I'm doing here, but I just think it is aesthetically pleasing, so that's why I went ahead and just laid out everything in a line. So I've added all my veggies to the baking sheet, and I'm going to cut up my chicken. First, I'm going to salt and pepper the chicken just to give it some extra flavor. And then I'm going to be dicing up the chicken. You can leave the chicken as whole breast, but we are a family of 3 and we share the meat, so I decided just to cut it up to make it easily dispersible. Is that a word? Dispersible sounds good. I'm going to use it. I'm going to keep that in there. And you guys know me, I don't like to touch the chicken if I can prevent it. So I'm using whatever utensils I grab to kind of hold down the chicken so I can cut it. Is anybody else weird like that? I just don't like to touch the meat. It's just, ugh, I don't know, it just really grosses me out. So once you have all your chicken diced up, you are going to add that directly to the pan as well. So now that I have all the veggies and the chicken on the sheet pan, I am going to be adding this Italian seasoning directly to the chicken and to the zucchini and tomatoes. Now you are going to want to bake this in the oven on 425 for 15 to 25 minutes, again, depending on your oven. And this is everything fresh out of the oven. This was such a tasty meal. I highly recommend this one as well. But I just want to thank you guys so much for hanging out and for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this new What's for Dinner. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not already. And as always, thanks for being my kind of weird. Bye.